was introduced to porn when I was 5 years old, and I had a tree fort, and me and my friends found a bunch of porn magazines, and that was the first time I looked at porn. Okay, so how porn has affected me and my relationships is, especially in my past, I didn't know how to have relationships with women. Like, my relationship with women was purely based on trying to have a physical experience to get validation and to feel loved and to create a connection that wasn't a true connection. And it affected every single relationship. I actually cheated on, I believe, every single girlfriend I ever had, except maybe when I was in like junior high. So for me, it left me with never fully being satisfied, always wanting something different, always wanting something more, and really like a place of trying to find security, trying to find connection, but it wasn't actually fulfilling. It just was like got worse and worse as I got older. When I realized that literally my whole life revolved around porn and sex, that I was looking at porn like, I don't know, sometimes like 10 times a day, that everything in my life was about having a sexual encounter with someone and or porn, and everything kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it just continued to leave me in a place of being broken and empty. And I finally realized, like, hey, like, this is actually something that I've been living with since what I could remember, the beginning of my time, and that it's actually kept me in just so much bondage and pain, and thinking that there would be fulfillment, thinking that there would be pleasure, but it was like never enough. It was always leaving me empty. And so realizing that, hey, this is actually a problem, and this is actually not normal, and I don't actually have to live where something is controlling me. And that started a process and a journey into me actually being able to see women differently, porn differently, relationships differently, and where I wasn't controlled by something anymore. What does my life look like without porn? There's a lot of different ways that my life has changed without porn. I'm in a relationship where I do not have a desire to cheat. I do not want to cheat. I am content in my relationship. I am not walking around and looking at women like just an object where I can have a unhealthy encounter with. I don't feel enslaved to something. I mean, something that controls your life 11 times a day or however many times, or every relationship, like that is a slave. That is an addiction. I don't feel like I have an addiction and a slave. And there's just a sense of freedom that I didn't have all those years when I was watching and engaging in all those things. I would say that just because society says something is okay does not mean it's okay. All throughout history, we had generations of people that were completely okay with things that now we absolutely know is not okay. If you look at statistics, if you look at facts, there's actually a lot of damage that porn does, and it is not something like is water. People are like, oh, you have to have this because you have a sexual drive. It's like, no, you actually don't, because there's a lot of people that don't use that, and it's an addiction, and it controls you. It changes your relationship with whoever you have a relationship with, and it constantly changes your perspective of reality in life. Like, porn is not reality. It's fake. It's rehearsed. Like, if you look behind the scenes and all that stuff, like, there's so many STDs, there is so much brokenness, there's rape, there's all these things, and people think it's just people making money and it's a normal function, and it's like, no, actually it's not.